Tiffany Henyard faces eviction scandal as controversies continue to mount embattled Dalton mayor. Tiffany Henyard is once again at the center of a shocking scandal, this time facing eviction. Her landlord, Janetta Ho, has filed legal papers to remove Henyard from her residence, citing months of unpaid rent. What makes this situation even more astonishing is that Henyard, despite holding two high-paying government positions as both the mayor of Dalton and supervisor of Thornton Township, has allegedly failed to meet her financial obligations. The controversy deepened when Henyard hinted at a major announcement in which she claims some of her critics will soon be arrested. This unexpected response has left the community in disbelief, reinforcing concerns about her growing authoritarian tendencies. While Henyard continues to brand herself as the supermayor, her financial irresponsibility, excessive spending, and ongoing conflicts with local officials paint a starkly different picture. The eviction saga began in 2021 when Ho, initially planning to rent her property to another family, was persuaded by Henyard to lease it to her instead. Henyard promised to pay a higher rent, a commitment that quickly unraveled. By 2023, tensions escalated when Ho raised the rent slightly to accommodate rising property taxes. Despite Henyard and her partner Cal Woods earning a combined annual salary exceeding $300,000, they refused to pay the additional $200 per month. Even more baffling, they stopped paying rent entirely, with the last payment made in August. Henyard now owes over $5,000 in overdue rent and late fees. To make matters worse, Ho claims Henyard changed the locks on the home and garage, preventing her from accessing the property for essential maintenance. This blatant disregard for property rights has alarmed both the community and local authorities. Henyard's apparent belief that her political position grants her unchecked power, even over private property, has only fueled public outrage. For months, Ho exercised patience, but with no resolution in sight, she has now taken legal action. This latest scandal is yet another blow to Henyard's already crumbling credibility, exposing what many see as an unchecked sense of entitlement. With each controversy, from financial mismanagement to threats against critics, Henyard's leadership is unraveling. As Dalton residents grow increasingly frustrated, one pressing question remains: how much longer can Henyard hold on to power amid the growing scandals? With mounting scrutiny and a community demanding accountability, this political drama is far from over. Stay tuned as we continue to follow the twists and turns of Tiffany Henyard's turbulent tenure.
Here because I'm at wit's end and I fear that I'm going to go into foreclosure soon if I can't.
In late September, Tiffany Henyard, the embattled mayor of Dalton, found herself in legal trouble when her landlord, Janetta Ho, filed for eviction over unpaid rent. What began as a routine eviction case has now spiraled into a bizarre and troubling situation. Once seen as a figure of authority and trust in her community, Henyard is now actively evading sheriff's deputies attempting to serve her eviction papers. It is difficult to comprehend how a sitting mayor, once in charge of upholding the law, is now acting as if she is above it, refusing to face the consequences of her actions. The situation has become so extreme that Ho was forced to hire a special process server to track Henyard down. This escalation has made it clear that her legal troubles are only part of a much larger issue. Ho, who once considered Henyard a friend, is understandably frustrated and disillusioned. She never imagined that renting her property to the mayor would turn into such a chaotic ordeal. According to Ho, Henyard's behavior has been nothing short of degrading, especially for someone holding public office. Ho also revealed that Henyard went as far as blocking her from social media, severing their already strained relationship. As mayor, you'd expect someone to uphold responsible leadership, integrity, and respect for the law, Ho said. Instead, what we've seen is someone who feels completely free to act without any accountability. What started as a dispute over unpaid rent has now turned into a full-blown scandal, exposing Henyard's disregard for legal responsibilities, both as a tenant and as a public official. Ho expressed deep regret over ever renting her property to the mayor, describing the experience as a nightmare of financial irresponsibility and public disgrace. Henyard's actions have raised serious concerns about her ability to lead. Instead of embodying the qualities of a responsible public servant, she has displayed an alarming sense of entitlement, acting as though she is beyond reproach. Dalton, once hopeful about her leadership, is now witnessing a growing crisis. The frustration surrounding Henyard's eviction is just the beginning. Her inability to pay rent is only a small part of a much larger pattern of poor financial decision-making, which has now gained national attention. While she continues to fight the eviction case, an even bigger scandal is unfolding, one that could jeopardize her political future. Henyard is currently at the center of multiple controversies, with accusations of corruption now leading to an FBI investigation. The involvement of federal authorities signals that the situation has become increasingly serious. A significant part of the public's anger stems from Henyard's mismanagement of Dalton's finances. The village, which was once in relatively stable financial condition, is now drowning in debt. As scrutiny intensifies, questions continue to mount about how Henyard's leadership led to this crisis. Residents and officials alike are demanding answers, and it remains to be seen how much longer she can hold on to power as investigations and scandals continue to unfold. Dalton's financial stability has crumbled, plunging the town into millions of dollars of debt, and many citizens are holding Tiffany Henyard directly responsible. Her reckless spending has driven the town into fiscal ruin, but shockingly, her mismanagement of taxpayer money extends far beyond the local government's finances. It also reflects her own personal habits. In April 2022, Dalton's general fund maintained a healthy balance, but by May 2024, that fund had collapsed entirely, leaving behind a staggering deficit of $365 million. The town's sudden financial downfall, from a surplus to complete financial devastation, has left residents in disbelief, wondering how such a catastrophic collapse could happen so quickly. Henyard's alarming financial practices have drawn national attention, and even former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot was called in to investigate the town's financial turmoil. The findings were damning. Lightfoot's investigation revealed that Henyard had been using the village's credit cards as her personal bank account, making extravagant purchases from luxury retailers and online stores like Wayfair and Amazon. These weren't minor or essential expenses. They were major indulgences totaling tens of thousands of dollars. One of the most shocking discoveries came in January 2023, when Henyard spent an astonishing $440,000 in a single Amazon transaction. She followed this with 2 additional purchases totaling about $10,000. The sheer scale of these expenditures is mind-blowing, particularly for a public official entrusted with managing taxpayer funds. Rather than prioritizing her community, she has treated public money as her own personal slush fund. But her lavish spending didn't stop at online shopping. Henyard's taste for luxury extended to travel and accommodations as well. She spent over $67,000 on first-class flights and high-end hotel stays, including an outrageously expensive visit to the Marriott Marquis in Times Square, New York, where her bill alone exceeded $133,000, an expense more fitting for a billionaire than a small-town mayor. Her spending spree continued in Atlanta, where she racked up an additional $999,000 on luxury stays and extravagant meals. Perhaps the most jaw-dropping revelation came from an expense report showing that between July and November, Henyard spent nearly $223,000 dining at top-tier restaurants like the Four Seasons. This level of extravagant spending is completely disconnected from the financial struggles of Dalton, a town already drowning in debt. Despite mounting evidence of financial misconduct, Henyard has refused to offer any reasonable explanation for these excessive expenditures. The public is left questioning how much of this spending was for official business, and how much was simply self-indulgence at the taxpayer's expense. As Dalton faces a financial disaster, its mayor continues to live a life of unchecked luxury, spending public funds recklessly while her constituents struggle. The outrage among residents is growing, and many are calling for her immediate resignation. But Henyard refuses to step down, clinging to power even as her scandals escalate, and the FBI investigation looms over her. The rent scandal was just the beginning of a much larger crisis. As legal troubles and financial misconduct continue to pile up, it's becoming increasingly clear that Henyard's political career is in a freefall. The people of Dalton are demanding accountability, and the pressure is mounting. The question remains, how much longer can she hold on to power before it all comes crashing down?